thing per se, but I'm not someone you would call a good person. Like that definition of a villain is interesting. odacastradio@gmail.com. Send me your questions and thoughts on that. All right, so moving back onto the group, Vansky said that Kazuo Kiriyama from Battle Royale, in this series, this cold-blooded killer systematically murdered some fan favorites, and his backstory is ripe with feels. Mario Hart co-signs Battle Royale. See, Desi honorary mention said Yami Bukura from Yu-Gi-Oh! You know how some villains have reasons why they turn evil? When he was younger, Yami Bukuro grew up in a town made up of liars, murderers, and thieves. He was cultivated into evil, but the destruction of his village made him like a billion times worse. Not to mention he was able to fool Yugi and the gang with Ryo, so that they thought he was harmless, when in the end he was the baddest Yu-Gi-Oh! Villain of them all. Yeah, moving down a little bit, we kind of already talked about the definition of a villain. Me and David had a good discussion in the group about that. Mario Hart adds Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Stole his girl's first kiss. He a villain. Laugh, laugh, laugh. Ryan, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, dude, said Orochimaru because he is a snake. Moving down a little bit, Jared kind of cosigns Madura, what I posted in the original post. He says, Madura disses religion, LOL. He also doesn't consider fighting a villain either, because the Phantom Troop and Hunter x Hunter do whatever they want to and don't really care what anybody thinks. And again, I have to throw out that whole, well, it's kind of how you're perceived. Very rarely will a intellectual, smart person actually think themselves to be a villain, quote unquote. They will understand that they do bad things, but I have not seen somebody go, I'm the villain, I'm supposed to do this, unless it was a parody, or unless, that particular personality just, kind of did that sort of thing. Almost like breaking the fourth wall type of deal there. Chris Johnson said, Orochimaru, that voice, my personal fave is Oligura. And I tried, dude. I asked how you pronounce that. That is on me, not you. Tyrone said Griffith from oh snap, I just forgot the name. The guy with Guts. And not only the show is I can't remember if the show is called Guts, but Guts is the character that goes head to head with Griffith. Not only is he bossy and he has a lot of depth, that Eclipse was crazy, but you still can't help but like him, because he is such a boss beforehand and is basically God afterwards. And if you don't really know what he's thinking, like he is legit trying to have Falcon be a place where humans, demons live peacefully together regardless of class, or does he have a darker agenda nobody knows about? Yeah, that you have to be familiar with that Guts' anime series. God, I can't think of the name of it right now. For shame on me. Clifford says, Mr. Samwise makes an appearance. He says Crocodile from One Piece successfully made himself a celebrity among the people he was planning on taking over. Successfully defeated Luffy during their first encounter and has the ability to turn himself into sand. My God. Probably one of the most coy villains in the show, next to Doflamingo, and he had a lot of nope moments when the heroes thought they'd won. So basically, Crocodile, there is somebody in Crocodile named One Piece. That duly noted. I like the fact that there is a person named Crocodile. But yes, guys, a lot of feedback. Let me touch on a few more that I didn't mention earlier. Again, we got into a lot of definition of hero, or definition of villain. Actually, definition of hero too. I saw Gaara from Naruto was mentioned. Askeladd from Vinland Saga. Oda Nobunaga from the Demon King. He was the Demon King from Sengoku Basara. Another shout out to Diro Brando. Dewey Novak from Eureka 7. Gemma from Ninja Scroll. Kemi said Lelouch Lamperouge is the best villain of all time from Code Geass. I'm pretty sure I said his name. Char from Tyrone from Gundam. Yojiro Hanma from Baki. That's Mr. Darryl O'Neil Simon who's got his segment coming up next, by the way, guys. Stick around for that. And yeah, Garon from Full Metal Panic. So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to the video game portion of the show, done by Mr. Darryl O'Neal Simon. I said he was going to introduce himself. He still will. He just happened to say something in this particular, I guess, feedback thread I made for the group. So after the break, this will not be a song break. We will get into that segment. Screen Visions Radio, back in a bit. Hold on a sec. Yes, sir. This is it. This is that segment. Video games. All of you that like video games, tune in. Got a new host. Got his own thing going. Sounds great. Oh, yeah. I remember the name of that anime that has Guts and Griffith in it. It's called Berserk. Shame on me. Took me long enough. So, yeah. Here's that new segment. Video games. Check it out.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? This is a new segment of the show called The Arcade. And so as the name suggests, what we're going to be doing in this portion of the show is just talking about video games and video game culture. So all the things from the developers to the actual video games and the people who appreciate video games like yourself. So my name is Darryl Simon, and I am going to be your host for this portion of the show. I am a 3AL member, a member of African American Anime Lovers, just like your main host, Desmond. And before we even get into the content of the show today, first and foremost, I would like to express my thanks to Desmond right now. We got in contact real easy over the group. He had asked if anybody was interested in video games and would like to contribute to the show and to the group. And I expressed my interest, and just like that, he asked me to do a segment. So thank you very much, Mr. Desmond, for allowing a guy like myself to just talk about my feelings and my emotions as it concerns video games. And yeah, I hope that I don't scare away all of your listeners with what I have to say. So yeah, let's get on to it. So as I said, we're talking about video games, and so the topic that we are going to look at today is something of a controversial topic, to be honest. It's when I was researching and looking at lots of the different information as it concerns this topic, I saw lots of heated debates. I saw lots of discussion, really engaged discussion and those kinds of things. So I can tell that there's a lot of emotion running into this topic, but I hope that you guys would just hear me out. I'm going to express both sides, and then I'm going to give my opinion, and then you guys can attack me. So yes, without any further ado, what we're going to talk about today is there a lack of innovation in gaming today? All right. So there's, like I said, it's very heated. There's the group that says, "Oh, video games are they lack innovation like they did back in the day. This is just carbon copies, cut and paste everything." Then there are the other people that say, if you really believe that, then you're not looking hard enough. So we're going to look briefly at both aspects of this, and then, like I said, I'm going to give my opinion. So first, let's talk about the people who made this an issue in the first place. Those who believe that there is a lack of innovation in video gaming today. Now, why would anybody even think such a thing, first and foremost? Well, over the past few years, we've been seeing some interesting movements from developers rather, as it pertains to video games. If we were even to think of the last 2 or maybe even 3 E3s of the past, and for those of you who don't know, E3 is short for Electronic Entertainment Expo, and it's where a whole bunch of developers and businesses associated with video games that come together and they have press conferences showing the things that they will be producing within the next year or two to come. So over the years, we've seen a lot of interesting things at E3, but over specifically the past 3 years, if you're even to get even more specific, the last 2 years, there has been just this really big emphasis on sequels. We've seen sequels of Assassin's Creed. We've seen sequels of COD over and over and over again. And especially COD because it's basically the same. Well, I haven't played it that much, so I'm not going to lie. I'm slightly biased. I'll give you that. But it just seems like a lot of the same stuff every single time. Every single game. It's basically the same thing with one or two additions made, or improvements rather, made to the game. So when somebody sits down in front of their computer and goes online, or sits down in front of their TV to watch E3 for a year, and they're trying to figure out what new thing is coming for their console, what are they going to burn all of their life savings on this year, what are they going to waste their parents' trust fund on, and they see a whole bunch of remakes and redos to all of these different video games that we've been playing for 5 years, it can lead one to the assumption that that innovation in video games has just been lacking. And as well, along with the whole idea of sequels and sequels upon sequels, is the fact that also lots of these video games look exactly like other games, except they have a different name and a different main character. And I have 2 examples to try to illustrate what I mean. For example, there is the most recent Tomb Raider that came out. And I never got a chance to play it, but I saw lots of reviews, and I got personal responses from some of my friends as they played the game. And what they're basically saying is that it's basically Uncharted with a woman as the main character. And that actually struck me as interesting, because everybody's all excited for this game, and it looks all new, it looks fresh, it looks innovative, all of these kinds of things. And when you actually pick up the control and when you start playing it, you realize this is a little familiar. This feels exactly like when I was playing Uncharted. And another example of, or another illustration of this is with the game Sonic Lost Worlds. Now, I'm sure everybody thought this when they saw the trailer. First of all, I want to give credit to the game, because everything that I've heard about this game is fantastic. So it's not even necessarily that it's a bad game. It looks like a really good game, and it got very good reviews. But when we first saw that trailer, let's be honest for a second. When we first saw that trailer, we were all thinking the same thing. This joint right here looks exactly like Super Mario Galaxy, with the whole gravity manipulation and the way that the 3D is set up and all these kinds of things. It looked and felt a lot like Super Mario Galaxy. So even though it's a great game, lots of people ended up getting turned off, or are rather turned off from the game, because it looks so much like another game. They don't want to play this other game. They want to play a different game. And that's a problem, because it is a really good game. It looks like it is a really great game. And for the simple fact that it resembles too much of another game, lots of people are going to drop it, because they're not feeling that fresh, new, innovative gameplay. They're not feeling it. And so when we see lots of these things, and there are many other factors really that play into it. But when lots of these people pick these games up and look at these games, they're saying, you know what is the world of gaming coming to? What is happening? What's going on? These games are all redos. They're all remakes. Oh my gosh. And they're all complaining. They want something that feels new. They want something that feels fresh. They don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's boring. They want excitement. They want entertainment. And so that's what brings them to this